conservative talk show host. He also ran for office and tried to out Gavin Newsom. And certainly we appreciate his time. Joining us right now is conservative talk show host. And as I mentioned, presidential candidate Larry Elder joining us right now. Mr. Elder, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you for the time. How are you?
I'm doing well, Brian. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. We appreciate that. So the reality, though, I think you'll agree with me, is that Donald Trump is the front runner. He is the face of the Republican Party. He is. That's just a reality. And with that reality is now a third indictment. Donald Trump now a third indictment by Jack Smith yesterday. You know what's going on, Mr. Elder. He is still the leader of your party. He's even beating Ron DeSantis by 20 points in Florida. So I want to ask you about that. How do you feel about the face of your party now facing now a third indictment? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, when you say the face of my party, he's the face of the party today. I voted for Mitt Romney. I voted for the governor from the senator from Arizona, John McCain. I voted for George W. Bush. I voted for George Herbert Walker Bush. And at some point, he will no longer, quote, be the face of our party. Our party is about limited government, low taxes, low regulation, strong borders, and pro-life. And those are the issues that drive the Republican Party. And at some point, there'll be a different, quote unquote, face of the party. But as to your question, he's going to probably face a fourth indictment. I think the George is probably going to indict him as well. I think the indictment yesterday is BS. What Donald Trump did was complain about the 2020 election, the same thing Hillary did about 2016. For the entirety of President Trump's term, Brian, Hillary referred to him as illegitimate, called the election stolen, joined with Jill Stein to file a lawsuit to overturn the election in Wisconsin, filed a separate brief in order to have the recount done by hand. Nobody accused her of undermining our republic.
But was there a fake electorate scheme, though? Last I checked, Hillary conceded the following day, and there wasn't a fake electorate scheme. And I read the indictment. Donald Trump went way above and beyond, as you know, based on this indictment, in this fake electorate scheme.
I'm sorry. I disagree with you. Donald Trump challenged the election in Wisconsin, in Michigan, in Pennsylvania, and several other states, I think with good reason. More importantly, Donald Trump offered a theory about the Electoral Count Act that the courts did not take up. But lawyers offer theories all the time. And by the way, in last year, at the end of last year, Congress changed the Electoral Count Act to make it, quote unquote, clear that Pence did not have the authority to overturn the election that Donald Trump said he had.
Let me ask you a question.
No, wait. This is very important, Brian. If the theory that Donald Trump was offering was bogus, was empty, was fallacious, which is what Jack Smith said, why then would you clarify the law under which he made the argument if it was so obvious that what Donald Trump was doing was wrong?
Well, because I disagree with you. I don't think it's a theory. If I have a theory that the earth is flat, that's not a theory. It's just a lie. And I think most people would call me an idiot. Donald Trump didn't come up with theories. He lied. The election was not stolen.
I'm sorry. I know the lawyer that made the argument. His name is John Eastman. I defy you to interview him.
Who was a co-conspirator. He's not talking to many members of the media now. He's a co-conspirator in Jack Smith's indictment case. He's in a lot of legal trouble.
You're not even a lawyer, Brian. You have no idea what you're talking about. John Eastman is the former dean of Chapman University. He made an argument that under the Electoral Count Act, that Donald Trump could pressure Vice President Mike Pence into overturning the election in several states, putting it back in those state legislatures. And by the way, I don't buy the theory, but it's a theory that's a legitimate theory that he pushed. And again, Congress changed the law to make it clear that vice presidents did not have the power to do what Donald Trump suggested. If it's clear that Donald Trump did not have the right to do that, why in the world would you have to change the law to clarify it, Brian?
Well, first of all, I would, to your first point, I don't think you have to be an attorney to understand that Donald Trump has been lying about the 2020 election. I don't think there's any reasonable person with an IQ over 20 that thinks that Donald Trump actually thinks he won the election. There was no evidence of widespread voter fraud. You don't have to be an attorney to know that Donald Trump has been lying about that. You also don't have to be an attorney to know that if he didn't lie about it, January 6th doesn't happen. Even though he hasn't been charged with incitement, let me ask you a question. If Donald Trump didn't say months before January 6th that the election was stolen and didn't say that Democrats cheated and Joe Biden cheated, which, by the way, they didn't, does January 6th still happen? Yes or no?
I'm sorry. Did Hillary lie when she said that Donald Trump?
Why do you bring up Hillary Clinton? I'm asking you a question now
Because
about
because 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 you're being inconsistent. You're being a
no,
phony. You're
that's
being
whataboutism. That's
you're engaging
whataboutism.
you're engaging in you're engaging in selective outrage. You know, when people on the left say whataboutism, what they're doing is dodging their hypocrisy, dodging their double standards, dodging their selective outrage. Hillary for 4 years called Donald Trump illegitimate. Was she lying, Brian?
Okay, so first of all,
Was she lying?
I will answer
Was she
your
lying?
I will answer your question, even though you didn't answer mine. I
I'm
asked you.
happy to answer yours after you answer mine. You go first. Was she
Okay.
lying? Was Jimmy Carter lying when he called when he said the Russians put Donald Trump
I'll
in
answer your
office?
question. First
Was
of all,
Hakeem Jeffries lying when he
first of all,
referred to Donald Trump as
I'll answer your
illegitimate?
question about Hillary Clinton. First of all, she conceded the following day. Second of all, she didn't incite an insurrection. Democrats didn't storm the Capitol. It's not a fair analogy.
You didn't answer my question. Was she lying?
Was she lying about what? That it was an illegitimate.
Am I stuttering? Am I stuttering? Was she lying when she referred to Donald Trump as having stolen the election? Her word, not mine. Was she lying when she said Donald Trump was illegitimately elected?
Okay,
her words, not mine. Was she?
So here's the difference between you and me. I can call out both sides. If Hillary Clinton did say that,
what do you mean if she said it? She said it over and over and over again.
And I'm answering.
There's no if about it.
Even though I don't think I think it's a false comparison. If Hillary did say that, then she's wrong. And any Democrat that would say that Donald Trump illegitimately won the 2016 election is wrong. So now I go back to my question that I asked you. I just answered your question. And by the way, I'm not a Democrat. I'm a registered independent. I lean to the left.
Please. When was the last time you voted for a Republican?
In 2022, in the midterm elections, I voted for 8 Republicans. You don't know what you're talking about, and you don't know anything about my voting record. I'm a registered independent, and I'm anti-Donald Trump. It's why I voted for Joe Biden, and it's why millions of Americans voted for Joe Biden over Donald Trump, not because we're huge Joe Biden fans, because we didn't want to vote for Donald Trump. Now, let me go back and ask the question again that you refused to answer. I'll ask it again. If Donald Trump didn't lie and say the election was stolen months before January 6th, does January 6th still happen? Yes or no?
Donald Trump did not lie. Donald Trump made a First Amendment argument that the election, in his view, was stolen based upon shenanigans that took place in Pennsylvania, in Michigan, and Wisconsin. We can go into depth about all those states. As far as I'm concerned, Donald Trump did not lie. Donald Trump offered his opinion. Hillary Clinton, for one more time, has referred to Donald Trump as illegitimate for 4 years. Hakeem Jeffries, who took over from Nancy Pelosi, referred to Donald Trump as illegitimate. Former President Jimmy Carter claimed the Russians put him in the White House. All these people made these arguments. Nobody called them liars. People assumed they had an opinion, a First Amendment opinion, and Donald Trump has a First Amendment opinion.
I believe Donald Trump is illegitimate, not because I believe the election was stolen, based on his behaviors, based on the things he said, based on the things he's done. And I find it hard to believe that you won't admit that Donald Trump continues to lie about the 2020 election. There's literally zero evidence. There's zero evidence.
The definition of a lie is an intentional intent to deceive. Donald Trump is Donald Trump. Donald Trump believes that the election was stolen. You can hook him up to a polygraph, and I assure you, he will be found to be truthful. That's what he believes.
There are people that have testified under oath that have worked under Donald Trump that disagree with you, that have testified under oath that they say that Donald Trump knew that he lost the election, yet he still continues to spread lies about the 2020 election. You actually believe that Donald Trump believes that he won the 2020 election?
You asked me the question. You can answer it a million times if you want, Brian. Do I believe that Donald Trump believes that the election was stolen? Yes, Donald Trump believes that. He believes that there were shenanigans in Pennsylvania, in Michigan, in Wisconsin, all of which conspired to make him lose that election.
So I guess my question to you, tell me why, Mr. Elder, you decided to put your name in the ring, so to speak, and you're running for president of the United States.
Well, because I believe that our side, meaning the Republican side, is not talking enough about some issues that I think are really, really vital to the country. I'm running as a America First guy, Make America Great Again guy. So the question is, what's the point? And the point is, we have an epidemic of fatherlessness in this country. 3 times as many American kids enter the world today without a father in the home, married to the mother. 70% of Black kids do. 50% of white kids, Hispanic kids do. 25% of white kids do, which was the same percentage as to Blacks back in 1965 when Lyndon Johnson, a Democrat, launched a so-called war on poverty, Brian. And since then, in my opinion, we've incentivized women to marry the government and incentivized men to abandon their financial and moral responsibility. And the numbers are clear. If you're raised without a father, you're 5 times more likely to be poor and commit crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, and 20 times more likely to end up in jail. We're willing to work hard, graduate from high school, don't have a kid until you get married, get a job, keep a job, and avoid the criminal justice system. If you do those things, you will not be poor.
So what is your distinction between Donald Trump? What is the difference? You're running for president. What is the difference between Larry Elder and two Republicans out there? Why should people vote for you over Donald Trump?
I am, as I said before, I'm running as a America First guy, a Make America Great Again guy, but there are issues that we need to put front and center that are not being put front and center.
Well, listen, we're running out of time. What I was going to say was I appreciate the fact that you're willing to have these discussions, these debates. That's more than I can say of a lot of your Republican counterparts that are unable to or
I can say the same thing about Democrat counterparts. I've been on the air 30 years, and Nancy Pelosi won't come on, Maxine Waters won't come on, Jesse Jackson won't come on. So don't give me this. So don't give me this stuff about your counterparts. Talk to me. You're talking to me.
I defend you on that. And that's why I'm saying I appreciate the fact that you're willing to come on a show and have a debate or a discussion. And I think more Democrats should come on shows like yours. I'm with you 100%. Mr. Elder, I would love for you to come back on when we have a little bit more time. I appreciate you taking the time, my friend. And I have no problem with you being on that debate stage, and I appreciate you taking the time, Mr. Elder. Thank you so much.
You got it. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate that. All right, good spirited debate. I thought we would have that with Mr. Elder, and we definitely did it.